my dear students. Welcome to another English class online here at Raphael's English School. So we have a very special topic. It's verbs that are followed by the gerund. It's a topic directed to the intermediate students, the intermediate course. But of course, this is available to all of the students who would like to learn more about English. I am Mr. Franson, teacher at this school, and I would like to invite you to join us in this very special moment. As you are watching this video, I would like you to participate and try to answer to the questions I'm going to show here. So this is a kind of interview, a short or a mini interview, and I'm going to present the questions and I'm going to answer to the questions. So this is a chance that you can get to know a little bit more of your teacher. But I would also like you to try to answer to the questions yourself so that you can practice learning and understanding the questions and trying to interact somehow. Even though I cannot hear you, you have the opportunity to practice. So let's go. The activity topic is called Say Something. So I'm going to say 5 things about me, and I would like you to do the same about you. If you want, you can try to write the answers to your questions here in the comments below the video. So let's start. Say something you don't mind doing around the house. Well, something I don't mind doing around the house is sweeping the floor. It's an activity that is kind of relaxing to me. You know, I like to put some music on and grab the broomstick and go away cleaning everything in the apartment. So this is something I really don't mind doing. Now, say something you like doing with your family. Actually, I don't live with my original family, with my mother, my father, my brother, but when I am in their house, one thing I love doing with them is eating. For me, there's nothing better than sitting around the table with the family, a big family, a lot of food, and eating and talking and gossiping, you know, getting updated with all the news about the family. That's what I like the most. Now, say something you love doing in the summer. Now, there is something I love doing in the summer, which is going to the beach early in the morning. And you, what do you like doing in the summer? I know that some people like to stay home and relax and stuff. If we were not living this pandemic, if we were not going through this pandemic. Now, say something you don't feel like doing on weekends. Now, before I say the answer to this one, I would like to highlight an expression to you, which is feel like. Have you ever seen this expression before? When you feel like doing something, you want to do it. Okay, so something I don't want to do, something I don't feel like doing on weekends is staying in bed and doing nothing all day. Well, I like to be a productive person even on the weekend. So if I have the opportunity to stay home, I want to do something. Even if it's something fun, something different, I just don't want to, you know, sit down or stay in bed and keep scrolling on my phone, checking other people's pictures. No, I want to live. I want to have these experiences. That is something important for me. Now, the last question is, say something you spend too much time doing. There is actually one thing that I spend a lot of time doing is slides for English classes. You know, I like to do that, but it takes a lot of time. And I'm trying to get faster at doing it, but at this moment, this is what takes most of my time. But I like it. You know, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be here doing it anyway. So to continue our activity, you may have noticed that all these sentences, all these kind of questions, They have something in common. And this is not because your teacher wanted the sentences to have a combination to look pretty in the slide. No, these sentences, all of them, have the gerund form of the verb do. So you have don't mind doing, like doing, love doing, feel like doing, spend too much time doing. And this happens specifically because the verbs before the verb do, they demand, they require that the verb is in the gerund form. So it's not possible to say something you don't mind to do. It's not possible because of the verb mind. So it is necessary that we use the gerund after this verb. But teacher, how does it work? How do I know which verb demands the verb in the gerund? How can I use the verbs in the infinitive? I'm not sure about the difference between gerund and infinitive. Calm down, relax. Teacher's going to explain it to you in the next slides. Check it out. Before we go and do anything further, I would like to practice the gerund with you. So I have separated a few sentences that are necessary to be used with the gerund. So we're going to have these verbs here in the box, in the blue box. So the verbs are be, cook, do, have, make, rain, read, talk, clean up, wake up, and work. These are the verbs that we have to complete the sentences. So if you don't know one of these verbs, pause this video and check the meaning on Google Translator or another, a dictionary app. You can also use the Collins Dictionary online, which is very good. They have the pronunciation, they have the definitions, examples. It's excellent. I really recommend it. So if you know the verbs, if you know all these verbs, you can continue the video and do the activity right now. Okay? So the first verb, which is the verb read, is already marked because I have used it in the first sentence. I enjoy reading in bed. So the verb enjoy is the first verb of this list that needs the gerund after it. Okay? Now the next sentence is, have you finished up your room? So do you know the answer? If you don't know the answer, try to look here in the box, check the verbs, see what goes best in this sentence. Now the answer is clean. So have you finished cleaning up your room? Okay, so when you have a phrasal verb, we use the gerund in the verb, not in the preposition. So the next sentence is, I want to go on until I'm 60. Now pay attention because specifically in this sentence, I use the combination of the verb go and the preposition on to give the idea of the phrasal verb go on. Now teacher, what does go on mean? It means continue. Yes, I could have used I want to continue until I'm 60. But I would like to introduce this phrasal verb to you. So I want to go on until I'm 60. I want to continue, or I want to go on working until I'm 60. So the phrasal verb go on is frequently used in the English language, and it has appeared in the soundtrack of the film Titanic. If you don't know which movie Titanic is, I tell you the title in Portuguese, Titanic. So when you see this song that is performed by Celine Dion, she says, my heart will go on. It means that her heart will continue to love the person she loves. Okay, so let's continue to the sentences, continue to the activity. Now you can see that the verbs that we have used, they have this line on it. So the other verbs are available for us to test and check if they work in the sentences. The first sentence of this slide says, I hate late when I'm meeting someone. The first verb that comes in mind is arrive, but we don't have the verb arrive here in the list. So which verb do you think that goes best with this sentence? I hate being late when I'm meeting someone. Yes, and this is something really terrible. But I would like you to observe that here we have the verb hate. So after the verb hate, if you have another verb, it's necessary to use the gerund, okay? Now the next is like. So I like breakfast in a cafe. Remember, breakfast is a meal. So the verb that has a good combination with meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, even a snack, you can use the verb have. But in this case, as we have a combination with the verb like, we need to use the gerund. So I like having breakfast in a cafe. Okay? Now we have another uh, version, another use of the verb like, but now it's included in an expression. The expression is feel like. As I have presented the expression for you earlier in this class, I would just like to read the sentence to you and check if you know the answer. The sentence is, I don't feel like today. Let's go out for lunch. So if I want to go out for lunch, it's because I don't want to cook. So I don't feel like cooking today. I don't have this desire. I don't have the energy. I don't have the need to cook as I do in normal days. So today I'm not in the mood. I don't feel like cooking. You get it? Well, let's go to the next sentence. I love on a sunny morning. Well, I love waking up on a sunny morning. Who doesn't? I know that there are people who prefer to have rainy mornings so that they can stay in bed a little longer, they can sleep a little more. But I'm the kind of person who prefers a sunny morning, who prefers a sunny day, a sunshiny day, so that I can do all the activities I like to. Okay? So just pay attention that the verbs of your impressions, of your sensations, they need the verbs in the gerund. Hate, like, feel like, and love. Okay? Now here are the last four sentences. Let's try to get the answers for them. Okay? The first one is, I don't mind the irony. It's very relaxing. So for this first one, we don't have the literal meaning of the verb. We have a combination of the verb do and the activity ironing. Look at that. I don't mind doing the ironing. So do the ironing is one of these housework activities that we have to do that have a combination with the verb to do. For example, do the cleaning, do the dishes, do the laundry. So the same goes for do the ironing. Is when when you iron your clothes so that they're not wrinkled, they are like tidy. So in this case, we use doing the ironing because it's preceded by the verb mind. So I don't mind doing it. I don't mind doing the ironing. It's very relaxing. Well, not for me. I don't know a single person who likes doing the ironing, but the author of this sentence does. The next sentence is, she spends hours on the phone. Well, this sentence is actually correct. We could say the way it is, the way it is, this way is perfectly right. She spends hours on the phone. Nice. But imagine if we want to make it more specific. If we want to say what she spends hours doing on the phone. Is it texting? Is it video calling? Is it, talking to people? In this case, it's talking because you have the verb in the box. So she spends hours talking on the phone. Please let me know in the comments if you know a person who spends hours talking on the phone. And you, do you prefer to talk on the phone or do you prefer to text? Do you prefer video calls? How is that? How do you deal with your phone, with communication? Well, the next sentence says, it started at 5:30 in the morning. According to the verbs we have, it's rain. Okay, so it started raining at 5:30 in the morning. After the verb start, we use the gerund. And after the verb stop as well. Please stop making that noise. I can't think. Now, The last two main verbs of the sentences in this slide, start and stop, they have something in common, which is the use of gerund after them. But they can also be combined with verbs in the infinitive. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next slide, because this demands a specific talk about. So the title of this slide is FYI, which means for your information. I'm giving you extra information about the topic we're studying. And it's about the verbs start and stop. Based on the combinations that we make, if they go with the infinitive or if they go with the gerund, we may have different results, different ideas that are expressed. So let's have a look at sentences A and B. In sentence A, I say, it started raining at 5:30 in the morning. Nice, good. Okay, I understand. Now if I say, it started to rain at 5:30 in the morning, does it make any difference? Absolutely not. It means exactly the same. So yes, thank God, if we say started raining or it started to rain, if we use the gerund or the infinitive, no problem with the verb start. But now when it comes to the verb stop, is a completely different conversation. Now before we go and talk about the verb stop, I have something to tell you. I'm going to talk to you about the diners. Do you know what a diner is? Look at the pictures in the slide. The word diner is spelled D-I-N-E-R, which is similar but different from the word dinner, the meal. You know, I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the word dinner is D-I-N-N-E-R. And the pronunciation is also different. So because I have the meal, I have dinner at 7 p.m. at the diner, which is a different pronunciation, you know? So it takes us to alternative C, not alternative C, but the sentence letter C, which is, my friends and I were on a road trip and we stopped to eat at a diner. Now in this case, we use the infinitive, stop to eat, which means we interrupted our trip and we started another action, which was eating at the diner. So here we have stop and infinitive. Now, if you have a look at sentence letter D, you will see a completely different idea. Look at it. D, please stop making that noise. I can't think. So when I use stop and the gerund, I want to end, to finish, to conclude one action, which is making noise. So you see, we have this idea that when we use stop and infinitive, the current action is interrupted by another action, letter C. Now, when we use stop and the gerund, the current action is concluded. Stop making that noise. And this is letter D. Okay? Now, before we finish the class, I would like to present to you 10 common verbs that are followed by the gerund. So I'm going to show you the verbs, the meaning of the verbs, and I'm going to give you for free a sentence which is based on that verb. So the first verb is to avoid. It's when you put all your effort, all your energy in not doing something. You know, when it's early in the morning, it's raining, you don't want to wake up, so you avoid waking up. You see, your alarm goes off and you, oh, there's 10 more minutes. That's what you're doing. You're avoiding to get up. Now here we have, I try to avoid arguing. You know what arguing means? When you are fighting but with words, that's arguing. So I try to avoid arguing. The next verb is finish, to end, to conclude. I finished reading the book you gave me. Okay, so after the verb finish, use the gerund, finish reading, finish doing, finish going, finish, you know. Then we have be worth. So be worth is like when something is equivalent to its cost. For example, imagine you go to the cinema and then you pay some cash. So you pay some money to watch the movie. Sometimes the movie is not very good. So if the quality of the film is inferior to the money you paid to watch it, it was not worth it. You get it? So we have it in Portuguese. It's something We have another expression. If you know the expression in Portuguese, the translation, please put here down in the comments. Now let's check the example. It's worth seeing it with your own eyes. Imagine you go to a place so beautiful that you can see the picture, but the picture is not sufficient for you to see how beautiful that is. So you see, it's worth seeing it with your own eyes. The next verb is consider. When you give importance to something. We considered leaving early. Imagine you're in a party and the party is boring. So I consider leaving early. That's the idea. And then we have discuss. Discuss is not like a discussion, like I'm fighting with you with the words. Discussing is, okay, I present my ideas, you present yours. You always discuss making changes. So imagine a person who says, oh, I'm going to change, and never changes. This person always discuss making changes. And then we have the verb dislike, which is the opposite for like, as we have the prefix dis. So dislike is not like. I dislike being interrupted. The next verb is dread. So when you dread, you detest, you hate doing something. So think about one of your friends who wants to get in a better shape, to have a better looking body, and is going to the gym, but he doesn't like to do that. So he goes to the gym rolling eyes like, oh my God, I'm doing this again. That's the idea. He dreads going to the gym. He hates it. The next verb is the opposite, is enjoy. So the opposite for dread can be enjoy, when you like doing something, when you have a good time doing something. And the sentence we have is, they enjoy jogging together. You know when you are walking fast, but you're not running, so you're in the middle between walking and running, that's jogging. You know what old people do in Praça da Paz, in Bancários? They're like jogging. The next verb is miss. When you miss, you notice the absence of something. You see, oh, it's not there. I miss it. Or it's a person related to a feeling. Oh, I miss my friends, you know? So in this case, as we are in a pandemic, of course, I miss seeing my friends, okay? And the last verb is feel like. As I told you before, this verb has appeared sometimes in this class. Feel like is when you want to do something, when you have the desire to do something. I feel like traveling, okay? Very nice. So guys, thank you so much for watching this class. I hope you have enjoyed the class, and I hope to see you again in the next classes that we have to come. So see you next class. Bye-bye.